Hi there, and thanks for tuning in. This is going to be your Chapter 4 Advanced Math 7 test review. So let's go ahead and get started. Number 1 is going to be a greater than. So x is greater than -1. Number 2 is going to be x is less than or equal to -2. Number 3, a number m minus 3 is more than -4. So you do want to start off with going and writing m minus 3, and then more than just means greater than, so the greater than symbol, and then the number -4. Number 4, 16 times a number j is no less than -2. So how to write 16 times j is just 16j. No less than means you can be equal to 2 or higher, so that's going to be greater than or equal to, and then -2. Number 5, twice a number q minus 1, so 2 times q minus 1 is less than 5. The less than sign, and then 5. Remember, the less than sign also looks like an L that's being squished. Number 6 says a number a divided by 2 is no more than 6. So there's a few ways you can do this one. You could say a over 2, or you could write a divided by 2. Both of those mean the same thing. And then no more than would be less than or equal to 6. So either one of these would work. Number 7, to pass the test, you must score at least 60. So I just did P for pass. And at least would be greater than or equal to 60. Okay. And then number 8, the last one in this section, the maximum cost is $35. So I just wrote C is less than or equal to 35. How did you do? Number 9 and 10 ask you to write the given value and plug it into the inequality to see if it's a solution or not. So number 9, j is equal to 9. So I'm just going to plug in where j is, put a 9 there. 9 plus 1 less than 10. 9 plus 1 is 10. So they're basically asking us if 10 is less than 10, and this one is no, it's not a solution. Okay, 10 is not less than 10. Number 10, you're plugging in 10 for m, so 4 times 10 minus 6 should be greater than or equal to 30. Let's see what happens. 4 times 10 is 40, and then 40 minus 6 is 34. And 34 is greater than or equal to 30, so number 10 would be yes, is a solution. Okay. Number 11 is a word problem. It says a video game gives you 100 seconds to complete the level and move to the next. You are halfway through the level after 55 seconds. Write and solve an inequality to find out how much time you have left to complete the level. So right now we've used up 55 seconds. What we can use is 100 seconds or less. So that means we're going to be using less than or equal to. If I'm already at 55 seconds, what I can do is add on some more seconds. So I'm just going to do 55 plus p. And that means that whatever I use there should be less than or equal to 100. Okay, so this would be the first thing you needed to do is write the inequality. The second thing you need to do, I'm going to do this in a different color, maybe red. The second thing is you're going to solve it. So I'm going to subtract 55 from both sides. And my second answer will be P is less than or equal to 45 seconds. Okay, so both of these things right here needed to be included in your number 11's answer. Number 12 was kind of tricky because you had to work backwards. You and 5 friends, that means 6 people, are planning a trip. You want to keep the cost below $85 per person. Write and solve an inequality that represents the total cost of the trip. A lot of people get confused here and think that $85 is the total cost, when the total trip cost is what we need to find. So we know that 85 is going to be used, and we know that the number 6 will be used. The reason why number 6 will be used, it says you and 5 friends. Okay, I know that I want to keep it below $85 per person. So you could, it doesn't really say equal to, so right here I guess you would need to make sure that you keep it less than $85. And then what we need to make sure we understand is that if each person is going and we're going to spend $85 a person, I'm going to have to multiply to figure out see, that's 510. I'm going to have to multiply to figure out the total cost. So the total cost is 510. So if I need to multiply to find my total cost, what I'm going to need to show here is division. So what I would do is maybe write C divided by 6 is less than 85, or you can even do C over 6 is less than $85, okay? That is going to say C is the big cost, and if I'm dividing it by 6, it's going to be less than $85, okay? To solve it, yes, I would have to multiply both sides by 6, so that C is going to be less than $510, okay? So here's part 1, and here's part 2. On the back, we have number 13. That starts our section of solving the inequality. We have b plus 8 is greater than 7. So I'm just going to subtract 8 from both sides. b is greater than -1. Number 14, I'm going to add 4 to both sides. So I get 1 is greater than or equal to x. I do need to rewrite this so that x is on the left, so x is less than or equal to 1 would be my desired answer. If you still got this, 1 is greater than or equal to x, that's still the same thing, but it might be easier for you to put the x on the left side. Okay. Number 15, I'm going to divide by -7. Because I'm dividing by -7, I am going to flip my sign to be greater than or equal to. Remember, you always flip your inequality sign if you're dividing or multiplying by a negative number. So my answer will be C is greater than or equal to -5. Same thing here. I'm going to be multiplying by -3 to find my answer. So my inequality sign will be flipped. P is less than +15. 17 says solve the inequality and then graph the solution. So you do have a graph at the bottom of this question. I'm going to add 8 first. So that's W over 2 greater than or equal to 4. And then I'm going to times by 2. So that W is greater than or equal to 8. Okay. On your number line, you have 7, 8, 9. You're going to have a closed circle pointing to the right. Okay. So W is greater than or equal to 8, and then your graph will be part 2 of that question. Number 18, I'm going to add 4 first to solve. I get 10 is less than 2g, and I'm going to divide both sides by 2, so that g is less than and 5. So 5 is less than g, or you can rewrite it g is greater than 5. Probably desired to write it that way. 4, 5, and 6, I'm going to have an open circle pointing to the right. If you graphed it incorrectly, you probably did not rewrite it with the variable on the left, so maybe make a note of that and practice that before your test. Number 19, I did have to distribute first, so 3 times x and 3 times 4 is 12, greater than or equal to 12. A lot of people got confused here because whenever you subtract 12 from both sides, you get 3x is greater than or equal to 0, and then you divide both sides by 3. X is greater than or equal to 0. Yes, that is your answer. So I got a closed circle pointing to the right. Okay. Number 20. The perimeter of the rectangle is at least 12 inches. Remember, at least means greater than or equal to. Write and solve an inequality that represents value of x. So now I'm going to have 3 plus 3 and x plus x. That's going to be 6 plus 2x is greater than or equal to 12. Okay, so basically what the 6 represents are the 2 3's and the 2 x's added together. I'm going to start solving. 2x is greater than or equal to 6, and then divide both sides by 2. X is greater than or equal to 3. So here's part 1, and then part 2. For this one, it says the base is less than the height. The base is x plus 9, and the height is 19, so x plus 9 is less than 19, and then I'm going to solve, again, because I'm writing and solving. X is less than 10. So here's part 1, here's part 2. Oops, 22, a music teacher budgets $150. So in a budget, that means you can spend $150 or less than that. The cost of a new book is $12. Write and solve an inequality to find out how many books she can find or she can buy. What I did here is I did 12 times B, the number of books, should be less than or equal to $150. I'm going to divide both sides by 12. B will be less than or equal to, it should have been like 12.5. So that means she can buy 12 books, okay? Anytime you're thinking of a real world situation, you need to make sure that you're not having a half. Especially if you're talking about things that can only be bought in the whole. So you can't go and buy a half of a book, okay? So she can only buy 12 books to fit in her budget. The last one on your review, your current checking account is $420. So that's what I'm starting with. The minimum balance is $160, so I can have equal to $160 or greater than that. Write and solve an inequality that represents the number of $20 bills you can withdraw from the account without going below the minimum balance. So what I'm going to do is when I start with $420, each time I'm taking out $20, but I don't know how many $20 bills I'm taking, so I'm going to do 20 times B. That should be greater than or equal to 160. I'm going to solve by subtracting 420. Oops, 420. I'm going to get a negative number there because I'm doing a positive 160 and a negative 420. So I'm going to go over here and just rewrite that real quick. Subtract. I'm going to get 260, so negative 260. And then divide both sides by negative 20. Because I'm dividing by negative 20, I'm going to switch my sign to be less than or equal to. So B is less than or equal to positive 13. So I can get 13 $20 bills. Okay. 13 or less. That's going to conclude our review. Just make sure that you study for your test. It's going to be tomorrow. And you can go on our class website to try some practice tests. Have a great day.